the wins that we had compared to his wins were definitely different.
Yeah.
They were a little bit closer, than what we were used to
Right.
with
I mean,
having Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, like, is a legend. Like, I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that he didn't officially announce retirement until like the season was over. I thought a lot, you seen like Derek Jeter, like, I guess it's a different sport, but like they have their like in Dwayne Wade, they have like the retirement year where they go around, change jerseys, get like in every city, get love from the fans. Like, I guess Drew Brees wasn't interested in that. I don't know.
I guess, I mean, there might be a part of him that was like, well, I still got 1 year left on my deal. Do I want to try one more time?
Yeah, he actually didn't know, I guess.
Yeah. So, I think that was part of it too. And, it's the, well, how far do we get in the playoffs? Let me really see how bad do I want to go back out and start training like a true professional athlete as opposed to working out and just staying in shape type deal. Do I want to take another pounding year? So I think it was a culmination of things for him as far as trying to figure it out, because the past 3 or 4 years, the Saints have been going to like the divisional conference championships, right?
That
They're
pass interference,
right there. And so it's kind of like, it's almost like we're like right there. Don't want to give it one more shot.
Yeah. Well, he got the city one, right? And
look,
he'll
Drew Brees, if he
be a
wanted
legend
to,
forever.
Drew Brees is a fixture in New Orleans now, and even after the hiccup that he had with his Yahoo interview, he is still very much a fixture in the city. People still very much love him. I think a lot of people have gotten over the interview that he had with Yahoo.
What'd you think about that? Like, because I watched it, I heard Drew Brees under fire, and I watched the interview, and I was like, that wasn't that bad. I don't know. I guess it comes down to the issue of flag or not flag.
Well, it's a couple things, and I think Drew Brees at his core, at his heart, and at his values is truly a good man.
Yeah,
I think he teaches his children values. I think he is a really good man. I think what happened with Drew is that unfortunately he was looking at it through just tunnel vision and through one lens.
Yeah.
And I think the analogy that I can make in that situation is that, Drew Brees is definitely not a racist person.
Yeah.
He teaches his family to love everyone, right? But I think what wound up happening in that situation is that the admiration and respect that he had for his grandfathers, which I can truly appreciate because he talked about
in World War II. That's what he said.
Exactly. Fought in World War II. I can appreciate that. But their experiences when they came back as heroes is different than my grandfather who fought in World War II, or my great uncle who fought in World War II. Because when my family came back, they came back to the South to segregation.
Jim Crow. Yeah.
They came back to Jim Crow. They came back to racism. They came back to no opportunities. And so while he feel like, I think, and this is the analogy, it's like, let's say we're all at a condo or a hotel that's on the beach. I think Drew Brees felt like because we were all in the same hotel that we are the same, where his view was the water and the beach, and in my view is the parking lot and the dumpster at the bottom.
True.
And so I think he thought because we were all in the same hotel, which is nice, that we're all okay. But it's not the same,
Dang. I never even looked at it from that point of view. I was just thinking he touched a hot button issue with Kaepernick and then kneeling for the flag, but I never even looked at it from the World War II thing and then the analogy you just made. I mean, dude, that sucks, man. I mean, I hate the history.
It's tough, man, because like I said, again, I truly believe his heart was in the right place, and the stories that we hear from our grandfathers, even though or my great uncle, who both served in the same war, their experiences are completely different. And then the same flag that you love and respect, your grandfathers and your family came back heroes, where mine had a completely different experience.
Right.
A completely different experience.
Yeah. How do you think our country's doing on this, like in modern times, from your perspective?
The big issue that I had with everybody talking about the kneeling flag, because they were completely getting distracted from the overall point. And no one actually took time to listen to what Colin Kaepernick was saying. No one took time to say, like, listen to, he said, look, the first time I did it, I sat down. And apparently that was disrespectful. So I wanted to correct my mistake. And I actually had a dialogue with people who are in the armed services, the military, to say, hey, look, this is my message. I want to be respectful, but I want to make a statement. And someone who's in the military told him to say, look, you can make your statement by taking a knee, because that's not being disrespectful. You know, that's
Interesting.
not
I
being
never knew that. I never knew
that's
that.
not being disrespectful, you know, and you can still get your point across. But what he was trying to do, literally back in 2016, when this all happened, 2015, when this all happened, literally it was a pot boiling and it completely overflowed with the whole with the George Floyd incident.
Oh yeah.
Because that was his whole point of
Yeah.
taking a knee, was to show what was going on to people, the same exact thing that happened to George Floyd.
Right. Police
And
brutality. That was his main thing, right?
Yeah,
police brutality.
That was his main thing. It was police brutality. It was criminal justice reform. You know, those were the two big things. And
Right.
and unfortunately, like I said, it took a man losing his life for even the NFL to recognize. He was like, well, we got this. Sorry, guys, we got this one wrong. Because, you know, they were talking about fining guys for doing it, suspending guys. And that in itself violates First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. But again, it's a private company, private organization. So, you know,
I think what they eventually did was they stopped like putting it on TV. I heard that from someone. Like, my wife's dad was at an Eagles game. I think it was preseason, and he said there was a couple guys kneeling. And this was the year like after it was such a big deal. But he said they just didn't like put it on TV, so no one talked about it.
They might have kind of like just panned the crowd during the
national
exactly
anthem,
as opposed to like show the guys on the team. But yeah, that was the whole thing. And I think a lot of people, like, they kept focusing on, you're disrespecting the flag, and you're disrespecting, you know, the armed forces. Like, it has nothing to do with those guys. Like, first of all, the flag does not belong to the military. The military wears it as identification for the country that they're serving.
Right.
The flag belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to the other 340 million Americans that live in this country. Yeah. It's not just for the military.
Right.
And the flag represents our constitutional rights. So all of the super gun toters, like, and look, I respect, like, I have firearms in my house.
Okay.
I'm all about the Second Amendment, but we also have the First Amendment, and that's freedom of speech. And you cannot get mad when someone wants to exercise their First Amendment right.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, a lot of people want to pick and choose which constitutional rights are okay to exercise, you know, or, you know, when's a good time to do a protest? Like, you do a protest to disrupt things. You don't set a time for a protest, you know, like, well, let me come protest at 3:00 in the afternoon at the park while everybody's at work. Oh, that's going to be very impactful. You know?
I feel you, man. Yeah.